Hi. This video is not going to be a pleasant one. It's not going to be a funny video. It's not going to be something that that entertains you necessarily. This video is a rant. This video is not safe for work. This video is a trigger warning of rape and sexual assault. This topic has been bothering me for a while. I haven't necessarily found the words to express how I feel, but I'm going to try anyway because I think it's important that people know that I feel this way and start having this conversation. So I'm going to get ahead of myself, and even though I might not be eloquent with my words, I'm going to try it. And I'm going to try for you. I'm going to try to explain this. Our society has a really awful way of placing blame on the victims. What I'm specifically talking about is rape. When a person is raped, and I will say person for most of this video because I do not believe that women are the only people that get raped. I do not believe that men are the only people that rape. Statistically speaking, we know of more women who are raped, but that does not mean women are the only ones that are raped. When a person is raped, our society starts to pass judgment on that person and starts to ask these questions. What were you wearing? Were you drinking? Were you with people you shouldn't have been? Were you out too late? Were you at the wrong place? Do you sleep with a lot of people and therefore ask for it? All these questions might not get asked to the person that experienced the sexual assault or the rape, but they do get asked. Whether it's the police speculating, whether it's friends speculating, whether it's family, whether it's co-workers. When a person is raped, those questions are always asked. They were always asked, and that bothers me. That bothers me because there's something wrong with the society where if a person works up the courage, and it takes so much courage, if you're sexually assaulted, it takes a lot of courage to tell somebody about it. It takes a lot of courage to open up, to admit that that happened to you, and to ask people to help you. That takes a lot of courage. So when a person comes forward and says, "This happened to me," or "I think this happened to me, what do I do? Can you help me?" and we pass judgment on them, and we assume that they're slutty, or we assume that they asked for it, there is something wrong with that society. I don't want to live in that society. We need to start looking at the perpetrator. We need to stop asking that person who was sexually assaulted what they did to cause that sexual assault, what they could have not done to prevent that assault, because a rape or a sexual assault cannot be prevented by the person who was sexually assaulted. A rape or a sexual assault is the result of another person choosing to take advantage, choosing to harm another person, choosing to proceed even when the answer is no. And I will add that just because no is not said does not mean that yes is. And just because that person slept with all these other people consensually does not mean they want to sleep with you. And there is something wrong with our society when we go directly to the judgment, when we go directly to the words slut and whore and say things like asking for it. When a person is drunk at a party wearing whatever the hell they want, they're not asking to be sexually assaulted. They're out enjoying themselves, being who they are, doing what they like. They're not asking for it. As the person who chooses to take advantage of their inebriation, to take advantage of them being high on drugs, to take advantage of them being passed out drunk, that's the person that we need to be questioning. That's the person that we need to be focusing on. What we need to do for the victim of that assault is to show support, is to show solidarity. When a person opens up and decides to ask people for help with this situation that happens to them, the last thing they want to feel is regret. The last thing they want to feel is that they would rather have not said anything, that they would rather have spent their life in silence, knowing that this happened to them and not feeling like anyone will help them. What victims need is their friends and family to support them, to try and understand, to try and reach out. What they don't need is society telling them they're slutty, or telling them that they made wrong choices and they brought themselves to that situation. There's something wrong with the society that does that to their victims. And I don't believe that you can say you respect women if you disrespect sluts. I think that if you say something like that, if you say, oh, I respect women, and then you slut shame, and then you tell that girl she's slutty for sleeping with that person, or you tell that guy he's slutty for sleeping with all those people, or for wearing that, or for doing that, or for behaving this way, then you need to retract your I respect women or I respect men statement. Because if you respect women or you respect men, you respect all women and all men and all choices that they make. And you don't just respect a person when they choose to make the decisions you deem appropriate or responsible. How dare you say to me, I respect you as a woman, when you look back on me and you say, that sexual choice, how could you make that sexual choice? You don't respect me as a woman if you disrespect my sexual choices. And the same goes for men. You do not respect a man when you disrespect his sexual choices. And it's almost backwards. Women who have sex with a lot of people are considered slutty, and a guy who doesn't have sex with a lot of people is considered inept. What is wrong with that? There are so many things wrong with that. Don't tell me you respect me if you don't respect whatever choices I choose to make with my body, with my clothes, with my time. Don't tell me you respect me. And we need to stop blaming the victim. We need to focus on creating a society that teaches men and women to respect each other and to wait for that consent before proceeding. We need to build a society where instead of blaming the victim, we support them and we do what we can to make it right with them. Thousands upon thousands of victims every single year go without saying anything because of things like slut shaming, because of the memes and the blogs and the videos and the society's version of what's okay. They say nothing because they would rather suffer in silence than have to answer things like, did you ask for it? We need to step away from blaming the victim. The longer that we blame the victim, the further we are going to pull ourselves away from a society that teaches people to respect each other, that teaches people to ask, that teaches people to make sure. The lack of a no is not a yes. And when a person cannot say no or yes, that does not mean yes. And when a person comes forward and chooses to confide in you and chooses to tell you something that hurts them to say, you need to know that it is not okay to ask them what they did to make it happen, or to ask them how they could prevent it. I don't care how many people a person chooses to sleep with. I don't care how they dress. I don't care how much they party. I don't care who they hang out with, what they drink, how many drugs they take. It is not their fault if someone chooses to harm them, chooses to sexually harass or rape them. It is not their fault. And if you're a person in my life that chooses to take that standpoint, I will have you know right now, I don't welcome you in my life. I need to know that the people I'm surrounded with respect me for whatever choices I make or choose not to make. Respect the women and men in their life enough to respect the choices that they make with their sex, with their bodies. I will not tolerate a society that blames the victim. I will not tolerate a society that slut shames. And I encourage you to question those around you who do. Because if I step forward and you step forward, that's two more people that are stepping forward against a society that tells victims they asked for it. This is a heavy video. This is a heavy topic. It's emotional for me. I need you to know that I'm making this video because I don't want anyone in my life to question where I stand on this topic. Do not blame the victim. Blame the person who chose to hurt that person, who chose to take advantage of that person. Then and only then will we be closer to a society that understands the difference between asking for it and being raped and being sexually assaulted against their will.